Hello and welcome, as it is another time for a video regarding this strategy I was talking earlier about today. And I'm going to do so more, but put emphasis towards position sizing, how much you actually bet and or how many you buy and sell. And I'm going to do so within a spreadsheet. So within such, when there's a buy, and when you enter a position, that's what you're always going to do, is buy. And it's always good to wait till it's cheaper instead of waiting for, oh, something comes up and it's had like 3 up days in a row or 6 out of 8 that are up and it's way high. You might want to wait for it to consolidate or come down. Here's a situation where prices barely went below the 18. Obviously, you can go try to make an aggressive play and try to get a much cheaper price. Spoiler alert, it will come. But you don't know that. So 47.50. I'm going to enter in a buy position. I have 1 comma 47.50 because this will be entered in a spreadsheet. 1 will represent a buy, 2 will represent a sell. At this stage, I'm going to want to put in sane orders. And what we're going to do is put them in for, say, 30. Which is pretty nice, and maybe 1 up here. And as far as a buy is concerned, a little over 1,000 always works well. So that's how it's going to start. And at this stage, given that the first buy is at 4,700, there is really no need to buy until it gets anywhere near or even below the 3,000 handle. And there's no need to sell until price action could get anywhere near this 18 average of highs, because at the conclusion of this day, it's at like 120,000. And if you're buying at 47, if the next day it comes up to it, I mean, you could put a sell order in right at that number just knowing that it's there. So hypothetically speaking, it's actually efficient to probably have a sell order here. Maybe a little bit where the 18 average of highs would be, but you know what? This one works for that in here. Maybe you might put another one in here, and then again north of the 180. And if you can afford more Bitcoin, this is harder one to have more buy orders, but the beautiful part about this strategy is you don't need to have them, but you can have them. So the market is moving. It's staying within the 18 average. You're just doing nothing, checking it every day, until you have some sort of buy signal. 32.13. If the market grinds up or down, at some point you'll have a lot of time to do so. You'll have to buy or sell, but I don't want to buy at 32. I'd rather buy closer to 26. And I can't remember what the bottom number was because it's now getting above the 18 average. I need a good break above it. Nope. 33.99. I would be very concerned, technically speaking, just on this pattern. When it has this run up higher, that it's either going to fall faster or it's going to rise a bit then fall. And this low here was 29.82. I'm looking for a hair below that. But the resistance, and now here's a spot for a buy order. They gotta always be, and I'd have a buy order definitely around 2,000. I know I didn't put one in there. But again, that's why you have a whole bunch. But like I stated, it's hard to have buy orders in, especially if you have many different codes. Now, given that it's a necessity, you probably should have had one in, and if you didn't, the next day you got in at 23.98. Half the price is what you bought before. This is a wild game, so just play the volatility. That's what we're doing. Now at this stage here, with this decline, the 18 average of highs is in at 38. That's a very decent gain. If there's a green candle that shoots up there instantly, I would sell at that top. That's close, but I wouldn't sell there. Now here I am talking about, yep, just going to look at this once a day. That's assuming you look at this, at that just, yeah, only once per day. And it doesn't matter what time you look at it, it's when you see that its time is right. What one should have is a sell order here, maybe at around 38.66, and you would only have it there for the next day or two. And you would see that it would never hit. And you would remove it, looking now to sell above the 18 average of highs if price rallies. If it goes down, we can see the last buy. You don't really want to get in until with like 23.98 to like somewhere above 1,000, maybe 1,500 at the highest. We got the bearish setup and our buy order got hit because we had one in at 11.29 the whole time. Now at this stage on your portfolio, everything that you bought in here is down. This is down half. This is down 3/4. That's going to happen in this game. Always. Just part of the game. Now another buy order has been placed lower, and I'm looking again for the 18 average of highs when you buy this deep on the low. Below the low, that is. So if the next day it comes up to the high, which it doesn't, time goes by. Now you're looking for a break above the 18, a nice move that's going to activate a sell. Rather it goes down. You don't want to buy anywhere until near 500. You got a buy ordered at 509. That's a decent game, but it's only to the 18 average of highs, and it's got to be the instant one. If you bought down here at 600, by all means sell at the 9. So now 1093. See, that wouldn't be much of a gain at this stage. Missing out on a buy, missing out on a low. You could take a sale now, try to buy back later, or you can be patient and try to wait for the market to go up. I had no idea this was going to happen. I went back. I just scrolled through this fast, but I know all these codes do this, so it's not a surprise. I'm expecting that. I'd be surprised if if only a few of these or none happen. So that's a sell order in at 1813. So I mentioned before how you would have been down at quite a bit at here. Your portfolio would have been shot down to half. Now it's doing a little bit better, but these positions are still in a losing trade. You're looking to sell again if you have a decent break upwards above here. You're looking to buy if this can stabilize down at or below, not and or, but or below the 18 average of lows. Of course, unless you want to buy many small positions. So 54.15 gets sold. Now in reality, you would probably have had some sell orders of like say 29.95 get executed, and then you would sell at the 54.15. When you have the situation like this of the extreme gains, like this could continue further. I have no idea what the next day is going to present itself. You're going to get wild moves down. There is no need to even consider buying this until it goes anywhere at 2,500 or below. You would rather buy this at 2,000 or below right now. Next day, a little bit of a higher gain. Now the question is, do you want to sell a little bit more? I would say not quite. But if the price action has any decent break above 7,000, I'm going to want to take another sale. Decent sized move. Still not going to look to buy, but this is always going to happen with these big moves. You're going to have these red candles that follow. The volatility will get, well, it'll settle down. We're seeing a little bit of smaller red days down. These are still bigger than these days were back in the time. Okay. Another situation here where every single buy order would get filled. I know I haven't been filling them out, but if I were to do that, this would be another 45-minute video, and it still might be, because I'm just ending the year 2015 right now. But for those watching this longer video, the reason we're doing this is because you want to make a lot of money, and I don't blame you. Where would you realistically have buy orders in here? Like I stated before, you wanted to get in at around like the 3,000 and lower number. You knew the 18 average of lows was in at around 3,200. So 3,000 would have been the obvious spot when you were considering the day before where your highest buy order should be. Going down below that, you'd probably be looking at 1,500, and below that would never have filled. So I'm going to put in 3,000 and 1,500 because those would have been realistic buys on a day of this type of nature. And there's a dot, so I'll fix that. And when I buy, I usually do a scale above. So in a situation, if you happen to have a buy at like the 15.10, ka-ching, you got a big score because you're going to sell that now at the 47.2 handle. So what do we do next? We got two buys, which means we can now afford to sell if price action reaches the previous high at the 73 because of the 3,000 buy order. The 15 buy order has already been sold. A move like this tells me if this market doesn't hold the rally, this is probably where it's going to come back down to. But I would probably be looking to buy somewhere in the mid 2000s for my next buy. So I don't want to buy there, or there, or there, or there, but I will there. And let's assume I really wanted to get in. I could put the 2,500 buy order because I've been talking about that, which I will, even though it went down to 2,000. Your next buy order, or where you'd be looking to go, would be probably around 1,000. And you need a good move above the high. So would this be a good enough move? Because quite frankly, I wouldn't be buying or selling at the 18 average of highs if it takes this long to get there. What if I had a sell order there? Maybe below 4,000. So no. 29.31, would I want to sell? What was my last buy? It was 25, not really. But even still, I think if you're going to get further gains, 31.29, not good enough. Not good enough. Grinding its way higher. So at some point, if it keeps doing this, I'm just going to sell some. 3,500. See, this is where it's a tough decision. Do you take it? No. See, this is where you regret not taking it because now you got a buyback right there. But the market's going to move some more. I don't want to buy until it gets to like 1,200, I think. Well, 50, yeah, that area there. Or this thing makes it to the 18. So a lot of time goes by. And here's your first decent sized gain that you would see at 33.41. You might as well take it. It's not the greatest on the 2,500 buy, but it's what the market gives you. Now you're looking to go in on the 18 lows. Break below it. 28.59. That's a bearish signal though, so I would have to wait another day. Yeah, exactly. Bearish signal. Let the lower price come in. Buy at 25. And in real time, you have more day. You have a lot more time to look at it. Have your orders in place. This is. I think if you're doing this, just doing a whole bunch of this is very good practice. Now here's a spot where previous low, you'd have a buy order, but it wouldn't go there because it would be like 2059-ish or so. And 21.92, your last buy was 25. I wouldn't have a, oh man, I would actually not have a buy over there. Probably 2,000, 15, 1,600 I'd wait for. I'll take the 1,800. And when you see these kinds of moves, after a day like this, it's a safe spot to buy in this game because you know it's a significant lower price from where you last bought. You're not going to buy again until like 1,000. And your next sell can, well, right now the 18 average of highs is 27. So that's always a good thing to do there, is always put a sell order in little bit lower than where that day's 18 high is in for that point. And like I state, do that for a couple. 22.52. It could have further acceleration, but I wouldn't sell yet. Now 24.20. Where does this lead for a gain? Half decent. But I'm not going to sell, although I'm not wishing I would have. Big time. Looking to buy at 1,000 or sell on any decent break. There's the 1,000 it looks like. 1,006 I see as a low. That would have been very speculative, but you know what? 11.22 I'll just take. And the next buy, you're looking at 500-ish. So there's that quick move to the 18 average of highs. 15.49, we'll take the sell. Would have been nicer on the 1,000 buy, but still a good profit, good trade. Does it come back? I want to get it back at or below this previous low, so around 1,000 or lower. It's a bear market. If you had your buy order in on this day, the low was 1,000. I always do a hair above it, so we'll take this one. So now we're looking to see this thing go above the 18 or close to 5, 841. Do you want to buy here at 8? Because you could sell here. Because now at the 1201, we can see I'm only getting a 20% play on this. But I'd probably still take it if I looked at that day like that. Wouldn't be too happy that I didn't buy at around the 700s because I could have been buying anytime it was grinding down. And there's a buyback at 883. I know I could wait till the 18 average of lows, but profitable trade. A lot of it is about the numbers. If you can flip 1201 to 883 in about a week, sure, why not? And there's a move. I don't think I wouldn't sell that. I'd like to see it come up to 12. I probably would have a seller in at 1285 though, in that area. But again, we're doing a game quick basis here. The last thing was a buy at 883, so I wouldn't want to buy until like closer to 5. Okay, so there's a move to 10.25. Nice size move. Doesn't give me the greatest of profits, but I'll have to take it. And it's funny when you're saying a move that yields you about 15% doesn't give you much profits, and you're only doing this on a swing trade, basically, or however you want to name it. You're not holding it for that long. Okay, so there's a nice little break to 1407. And during this bear market, your portfolio could take a hit. So we'll take a look to see if the player that would be in control of this would be forced to maybe deposit, we'll say, if it was the only code, or if it would cost them more, because that's just what I like to do. So you have this gain, you got this nice volatility in the market. The year 2016 is in the summer, still a year and a half plus before we get to current time. And you have this big gain to 1660. They can easily handle 6 to 7 sell orders in a row with my strategy. Where do you want to buy back? Well, I'd be putting a buy order the next day a little over 1,000. If you were able to buy back, I think you can sell it here. If you didn't buy back, I'm not going to sell there, and I didn't buy back. See, now we're stabilizing. So now you have to ask yourself the question. Two things. One, you're at the 18 average of lows with the market more stable. Do you want to buy back? Two, does this look like a bearish setup when you look at the last 4 or 5 candles based on where it came from on a break of what we can see would be a symmetrical triangle? So I would normally say yeah, but I think it would go down. Okay, not doing much. Breaking out above, and there's a bearish setup that didn't fall. If I would have bought here, I'd be looking into selling territory. Okay, well there's a day where at the end at 26.29 you're selling. There's 4 sells in a row now. Your token size is becoming very bleak. Your Bitcoin amount is becoming much higher at this stage. You probably have your buy order in for about 1700 low change. And you wouldn't be selling until a great break of 3. Would 34.35 be sufficient enough? Barely. This is where you'd really be concentrating on how much lower your share size sells are, because you're really starting to run slim. I've got 6, which I know I can, or 5 in a row rather, which I know I can handle. Having a 6th one is going to become a little difficult. You could say maybe a mistake is 1660 to 14. That was not a good sell time. Probably right about that one. 78, 77. Sometimes there's a strategy where you're like, you know what? I think it's just safe to sell all out. If you miss the boat and it just keeps going higher, then you can wait for it to stabilize to get back in. But I would really be thinking this would be a time to just let this, just sell everything you got at this stage and wait for it to go lower. It's bound and determined in time to not only go lower but be below 5,000. I don't even know what this is priced at now, so we'll wait and see. And I like to not know too much about this because this makes it more genuine. I mean, that's just too big of a game. When you see something like this, it's almost want to buy back. Almost, but not quite. 43.60. Now I can start to enter back in. I would sell probably, well, probably pretty high. 38.10, not quite. What if I had a buy order at 3,000? Probably closer to 27 actually. And I'd even lower it a bit after a day like that. But I would, if it falls to 27, I would buy then, if that's what the day is. Okay, 51.40 we can see would be just a small gain. No, especially when you don't have much, not even close. So now it's just near, now it's stabilizing in this area. I think you'd really want to have a buy order in at around 28.80. So 28.80, does it hit in any means? No. Does it have any gains? No. I have to take a look at it this way now just so I can see the history. So 28.80 obviously got hit. Now it's 24.11. So I'll put a 28.80 buy. Which is something you want after selling everything. You want it to go back down. On this day here, 18.14, I think it's, I would like a little bit cheaper. So I'm going to try to get a bit cheaper. Does it backfire? I mean, this is about the same at 17. Okay, where would you have realistically bought? Definitely at the 1,000. But just for fun's sakes, I'll put both of them in. And in reality, if you're watching the market live, I'd be the type of person that like once it got to like 1700, I'd probably buy some. But I'm gonna put both the 13.99 and the 1010 in. And like you're back in business now. This is the type of movements you want to have. You still wouldn't mind picking up a bit more share sizes. These would be a decent amount that you'd be able to buy back after how you sold. Okay, so here's the situation. 2 days later, you're at 2024. Okay, sell. And these are the things you're looking for when you have these amazing crashes. Because you know, and even amazing rallies, because you know they're going to have the sharp opposite moves that transpire after. Now, here's the interesting situation of decision. Because what you have upon you is what has been a bear market. And the general rule of thumb, when you sell above the 18 average of highs, which we've seen was there, is do you buy back when it hits or pretty much breaks barely even below the 18 average of lows. It's the bear market, and I didn't sell up here, I sold up here, so I'd be waiting for a move probably back to 1,000 to buy again. That didn't hit 1,000, but I'd be tempted at 1222. So I would probably take it. I mean, look at the math difference. If you're selling at 2,000 and buying at 1222, that means you can easily buy 50% more than what you sold and just really increase it. Now, that's the thing. You could have got your 1,000. Do you want to get it in after buying at 12? The answer is no. I'm going to wait till about 8-ish or so, 750, if it even goes there. Okay, so this day would have been complete with the 15.11 sell. We already know the next day is going to be good. I don't like it, but you know what? I usually take it in this spot. It's too big of a green candle not to. It's a weak gain considering what we've been used to. But it does the trick and it works. And of course the next day you're going to get further gains. Realistically, I'd probably have a seller hair below 3,000, we'll say. This thing topped at what do we got here? 29.99. Yeah, just for fun and which. And again, if you were just there live on the computer, I'd probably end up taking like 23 or 2,400 or 2,500 or something. So the next day it comes back to 15.51. When you are fortunate enough to sell at the upper area, then you can take the 15.51. But if you sold at say 1900 here, I wouldn't be too enthusiastic about it. And then one might say to an advanced level, well, instead of buying a 15.51, heck, you could probably wait a few more days and get 1100 or 1000, 1200. And let's see if that's right or not, because it's just moving around. It's not right. Say your sell order was 3,000, you're like, oh, SHIT, do I sell at 1740 after buying at 15? The answer is not even close. But the next day, your sell order would have been hit, but quite frankly, I would have probably put a sell order below the 25 after what I seen the day before. After this day, I would have removed my 3,000 sell and put it to below 25. I know me too well to know that's exactly what I would have done. Okay, so then the profit, as you can see in doing this, is immense, and that's a sell, that's a 2. So we have more movements. I'd probably enter a sell order close to 5,000 next, around 49.95-ish. And obviously if you missed your 3,000 before, you can get it again, but I already had it. I guess I should have bought back at the here, but because I moved it, I'm not going to. 35.24, do you want to take it kind of deal? Probably not. It's too close to 3,000. I'd be looking, if a nice green candle happened to hit near 4,000 the next day, which I know it doesn't, but if the next day after that, I probably would. Wowzers. Let's be real here. What would I normally do? Wow. Wowzers, okay. Well, I said I'd have a sell order at 49.99. Now, before I talked about when it goes so high, you sell everything. You noticed when I did that before, that was after multiple, many different gains. And, well, it already had many large candles. I think you would probably want to sell out of 2/3 to 3/4 of what you have at this stage at 11,642. Leave a little bit back for another sale. But that's just wild. And again, when you do this type of stuff, I've done like 25 or so of these today. And I do this to get more experienced in this situation. Oh, there's a spot to just buy a little bit here. I mean, it's half off almost, but I wouldn't buy too much. But I'd want to buy a little bit. If this thing sparks back higher, I would probably sell half of what I just bought there at around 12,000. Normally when I buy, I would sell majority of it at the next level, but not in this mathematical situation. Okay, so now the question is 46.27. I would think that I'm going to want to put another order in. But I wouldn't buy again until maybe this previous level around 3,000. 38.22. I'll put a buy order in for 3,000, roll the dice. I don't want to buy yet just because it's, 32 or 33 I probably would just give in and take. But, there we can see I might not get the deal, if you will. Of course, the order would be removed at this stage and changed to probably lower, but 31.28 I'll take. And now you put a buy order in for about 1,500 to 1,000, anywhere in that range there. If you see the price come up to the 18 average of highs, I would sell, but that doesn't happen. This move here, not that great of a move. Now the price, what did it go down to here? 18.50. Would it be worth another buy? Yeah, of course. That's pretty darn near close. I definitely now wouldn't buy until 1,000. I wouldn't buy at the 13 or 12 or any of that handle stuff. See, this high here is 29.50. That's a good chance that I would have been like, geez, I had 29.75, didn't get it. So be it. Now it's going lower. Is it going anywhere near 1,000? Look at the volatility. 1,061. What's the difference of 1,000 or 1,061 other than 6%? 6.1. Okay, if I had again, same situation here. If I had a seller, it would probably be like under 2,000. So now what do? I just have to wait it through. And here we are. We're in August of 2017, so this is almost done. 15.10 is where I can get a sell order in. And now at 15.10, that's 50%. But it's also down how much cents here? 11,000. That's how wild these markets are. And I didn't... yeah, I gotta buy that. I didn't know it was going to have these types of moves. And I've seen this code before, but I've seen 100 of them, and I'm bound to forget. I'll forget numbers 7 minutes after the fact without looking at it all the time. In fact, if you look at me on my videos, like say when I'm looking at fib numbers, I go back and forth, do it all the time to try to find the same number. Okay, so I'm not going to buy at 1,000 because I pretty much did. Again, 500 or so would be my buy. See, if I move my order down here, I'd probably move to like 16.99, 16.95. And this sell order looks to be like just even 16.57. That would have just, that would have not been fun. I mean, I'd be like every single time. That'd be the third time I think in this one. Again, I've done like 24 or so today. So I'm becoming very comfortable playing this strategy right now. 1386, not even close, I don't think. Not even maybe. Okay, so 826 by... Yeah, why not? I'd probably lower my next buy order to 400 though. I think 500 still okay though. And then move the market. Question is that 632? Probably not. Okay, so this is 940. It pierced up above here, so I'm not going to take it, although, yeah, I probably would. And I'd be, I know it doesn't happen, but I'd be looking to buy back. Now, after this, I would probably have had a sell order in, well, it'll be below this previous high in here. So I probably take under 15. So 14.95 sell. The next sell order that I would put in, or ensure that I would have, would probably be, if I did 1500 before, probably do this like 2700 number. And then like 5,000 or so 27 wouldn't hit, but I'd be offered 1754. I would not take it. Okay. So after this move in here, where would I have been selling? Because with this Fibonacci, be looking towards here. So yeah, we'd be talking about 2,700-ish. But when I see it at 37.58, I'm going to take some of that as well. Now you have to ask your question, is it time to sell out when you see... Oh, I didn't even know. I'd say the answer would be no, you don't want to sell out. I would look for further gains because I want to scroll back to see if there was more upside room left, and there actually is. But you'd have a decent amount sold. Now, on here, when you see this... One, I probably have a buy order in at around maybe 2,000 if I sold. 1,800 is what I was looking at here, was because of... Oh, but the 18 average of lows? No, I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I'm just going to take the 1307. That's just because the rule of thumb that I've been looking at when you have these big moves is you don't want to get back in the next day or the next move unless it goes to the 18 average of lows. Now, if you're really desperate, you can take the 18 of highs. Now, I would not have bought in at 24. I just was a little bit not low enough after selling at 37. Next day, next few days, 22.98. You got to sell it. Play the volatility. Continue further. There's your move back to the 18 average of lows, a bit below 12.98. Play the volatility. Moving forward. Oh. This is a tough decision whether you'd sell here or not. I think I would. Too good of a game. Too good of a game. But that's what I like about this. There's always going to be situations that are going to be easy and difficult. And that wasn't a real difficult one, but it sure heck wasn't too easy. Like that, this one's an easy sell decision. And that probably would have been where my... No, my sell order's up here. I would have just taken it at 29. That selling at 3,000 before was an order a while back. Especially after that number failed a couple times and I reduced it below 28. And see, this is a top spot where you're tempted. Okay, you're not quite at the lows. Do you want to take it at 20.51? Probably, yes. If it was in... It's tough again, though, because I see the pattern of the last 5 candles. The big green up, the red one down, 2 green ones up, and then the size of that red one. That's not a bullish situation at all for the short term. But because you're coming from this and you're supporting this previous area here, it could, that doesn't necessarily mean, and we're seeing 4 green candles up, that it would be a bad thing. Now at 26.50, you made a relatively quick move to the 18 average of highs, but you see the gain isn't anywhere near some of your other ones. So I want to see this thing shoot up above 3,000 to sell. Of course, knowing that, time machine, then there you go, 1706. Do you want to buy? The interest not even close, maybe around 1,400 or so. And we continue on, and that's where we stand today. So now we're going to use a spreadsheet and see how this will work. We're going to talk about averaging or just different, how much to buy. Now in this spreadsheet, I'm going to copy and paste my data here. This number is how many Bitcoins I would start with, and I'm just going to put 0.01. And then in here is where I'm going to enter share sizes. So let's copy and paste this data. And then what we're going to do, like I stated, is talk about positioning. And right off the bat, 47.50 was the first buy. So if you're going to buy, say, 100, which is not much, it would cost you 0047. So we're going to spend maybe 750, maybe even a bit more. 900. So 900 is bought, which would be a little less than half your bankroll. Now, when I look to see what I would want to sell, my first sell number, I want to do over 20% but under 25%. So I'm looking to sell around maybe 200 because 20% is 180. So therefore, I know if I'm going to buy my next amount, I'm going to buy a little more than that. First buy at 23.98. Let's buy 250, 40 even. Costing 0.0057, easily affordable. And then say 300. Okay, here you are going from 23.98 to 11.29, so let's go 400. Easy buy. So now we have 1,540 tokens in place. 20% is about 300, so I'm going to sell 325. And on this I put a negative to sell, which now reduced my number to 12.15, and I want to reduce it in a decent increment. So maybe 290 as the next one, maybe about 260 as the next sell order. And I only have 665 back, but I'd still have a few more sells to go, as we can see, going like 230, then 200, but at some point we're going to run out. Then the 3,000 buy comes in. If you sold 260 at 54, then I'm going to want to buy about 340 of them. 340 would cost me less than what I sold 260 for. This 290 sale of 29.95 is half the price. So I can go about 400. And now when I go to my next situation here, I got 20% of that is 280. So let's do about 325 on a sale, which is what this one is. I got 7% of a Bitcoin on here, plus 1,000 tokens, which is more than I started with as far as token size is concerned. Then we have another buy from 4,700 down to 25. So I'd be looking to go maybe about 500. And then selling it back. So maybe I want to sell more than the 325, but no more than 400. So I'm going to go 375. Then you buy back at 25. So maybe about 450. Now it's not the greatest of percentage gains here. So 450 barely lets you buy for cheaper than you're selling it for. but you do own 6%. If I buy, say, at a price target here of 600, then that will bring me down to 5.2%. And then buying a little cheaper, let's say 850, that would put me at 4.2. And now that a sell order comes in, 20% of 3,000 is about 600. So 700 and change, 725 seems like a good number to sell. Price goes back to 1,000. These numbers are getting bigger. This is what the whole point of this game is. So you can buy back 1,000 if you want, but I got 900 we'll take. Then this isn't that big of a gain, so I'm going to sell what I did last time, 725. Price goes down in here, so 883. Now I can buy, say, 950. Price goes up to 1,000, not a great gain again, so I'm just going to go negative 725. 1,400. So let's go negative 600 because we're starting to run low. Negative 500. 36. We'll see if we run out here. I don't think I will. I mean, technically, you could never run out using miscellaneous strategies like selling a percentage of what you got. But 400. Heck, I got a lot. I can go 425. And then here, maybe 375. Still got 1,200 left. Now, where did I say I was going to... Actually, forgot to put the 5 in. And my number lock was taken off, that's why. So down to 880. Now this is where I think I did say I was going to sell everything, because I remember buying back at the 43. Now technically, let's just say when you say everything, you're selling 2/3, because you should never really sell out of it anyway. So now in a situation here, I only would have bought back like maybe 400 here. And then maybe another 600. Because the way I look at it is the 1,000 that I buy here would justify the sell at 78.77. Then the 375 sale at 35.35 I can cross-link to 13.99 and get 550. Now let's just see how many Bitcoin I got in here. 9%. I'm doing pretty good considering how valuable 1,830 would be worth. So on the next one, you could say you're going to 13.90, maybe go 7.25. Now you got 25, and you have a sell. Notice what 20% of this is, 500, a little more, a little less than your last buy. Seems to always work this way. So then you buy back at 12, about half the price, so you can buy maybe 900 of them. Sell it at 1,500. Not a good gain, but you know what? I'd probably sell for what I did last time, 600. And then we can go maybe 500 on the 29.85. Buy it back at half the price, 750. And then you're selling it here, so we go say minus, well, 50% of 2,500, so maybe 650. This one here, the 49.99, 600. And was this that? This was that time again I said to sell crazy again. And let's do 800, I guess. I remember saying to sell crazy at that 11,000 number. Well, I said it, obviously. So now you're buying back at 6,500. Again, you want to buy back more at the cheaper prices. So maybe the 800 you sold. Even 600 for that matter, and then complete the fill here at 600 for both of those. The 3821 would be cross-referenced to the 49.99. So that would be about 800. The 1850 would be cross-referenced to the 24.99. So we'll do maybe 900. 1061 is cross-referenced to the 1500, which was in at well, anyway, we'll just do 1250. How much Bitcoin do we have left? 12%. I could buy a lot more if I wanted to here. So I have more Bitcoin than I would have started. I got all of the few more transactions left. So 1250 was the last amount bought at 4600, so that would work out to like 1100. So we can see we're selling for a lot more than we were before. That's part of this game again. Buy this back from 11, maybe you want to go 1400. Buy the 826, maybe you go 2000 because we can afford more. This wasn't that great of a sale, so what's the normal? 1500. This one here, we'll go say minus 1350, minus 1100, minus 950. And then you're buying 1300 from 3000. Thank you. How much would you want to buy there? Maybe double-ish or so. 2000. And now you can probably sell about 1200 because 80 of where we stand with 4000, maybe even 1000. Then you're buying this back at 1198. Buy back maybe 1500. Selling it here, so we're talking about now we can go maybe 1200. And 1200 sale represents 2% of a Bitcoin in just one small sale now. This one will even be bigger. Actually, this is yeah, this one will be bigger at 29. So you're talking about 1000 would be close to 3% of a Bitcoin. And then this final buy will say in at 1300. So 3,605 tokens. .6% of a Bitcoin. And at last trade, the market is in at 1651. So we can take the price of 1651. With this, it's easy for me to do. If it's four Satoshi, if it's a Satoshi number, it's 4 decimals. 3 Satoshi number has 5. A 5 Satoshi number has 3 before it. It's always in 8 decimals. I got so used to this in the last half year or so. But yeah, so having 3,605 of these, that's worth 6% of a Bitcoin, almost. So 27% of a Bitcoin, starting with 0.1, although you never ever did use all of it. You could have started with 0.07. Even still, that's a gain of close to 3 times against Bitcoin, which has been just hodling Bitcoin from this early date was super smart. But 47.50 was the starting price. Currently the price is half. And you have outperformed this market. You have outperformed the Bitcoin market simply by doing this. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm not going to do many more of these. I just got really excited today. I like to do this over and over again. So I'm going to really do this very aggressively so that it just becomes second nature to me. And take care. Bye-bye.